Hey guys, good afternoon. Kimberly Lebbing here, and today I'm going to talk about 10 key reasons why some people are successful and others are not. So really quickly, if you're new to this group, welcome. I'm Kimberly Lebbing, and I work with successful business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals who are stuck in getting to that next level in their business. Maybe they're struggling with a relationship problem. Maybe it's just something in their business specifically, and they want to get there quickly. They want to get to that next level very quickly. So I've got a unique process that fixes whatever problem, whatever thing that's holding them back in 4 hours or less. So again, I want to talk today a little bit about the reasons why we see some people have success and others don't, because there's definitely, success leaves clues. And there's definitely some really key differences that I see all the time as I'm talking to business owners and professionals, and why some people just seem to be, at this level where, they're not really getting ahead, and then others are just skyrocketing. And so I've got 10 things I want to go through. And the very first one that I see all the time is successful people make quick decisions. Time and again, they don't have to think things through. They don't have to take months and months to decide. They don't overthink things. So they make quick decisions. They decide what it is that they want, whatever it is they need, and they move through it quickly. They may need to do some planning to execute whatever that decision is, which might take some time as well, but they make the decision quickly on what it is that they need. The difference that I see with people that aren't doing that, they're lacking confidence. Maybe they're not clear on what their goals are. Maybe they're not clear on what they do. Maybe they're a people pleaser. There's all kinds of underlying reasons on why people don't make quick decisions. But I see that as a huge key difference. The second thing is they don't wait for better timing. Successful people don't wait for better timing. They act now. And they don't wait for, I'm going to wait for my tax return to come in, or I'm going to wait until, I'm not going to invest in this just yet until this happens. Because successful people understand that, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit more later, that really when you invest in something in your business or in your personal growth, it buys you speed. And when you are able to buy speed and getting to wherever you're wanting to get to, that gets you money in your pocket faster. So a little bit of exponential growth with that. Third, they don't slow down for the holidays. So I hear this a lot, especially this time of year. Well, I'm not going to do this because, people are kind of taking off for the holidays and they're busy. Successful people don't slow down. They don't stop. They take time. I take time out for my family, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and, even a few days in between, of course. However, we don't slow down. We don't stop what we're doing and take the month of December off with this mindset of people aren't engaged, or people are too busy to buy things. And honestly, I was just listening to this. But people in December is such a huge month from November, Black Friday, to December. For a lot of businesses, that's their biggest time of the year. So people are buying more this time of year than what they normally do. So turning off your business this time of year is like just a huge mistake. But successful people don't turn that off. Number 4, they know where they're headed. They know where they're headed. They have a vision. They've got a clear vision. And this allows them to make clearer decisions. It allows them to say yes to the things that align with their goals, and say no to the things that don't. And what this gives them is it gives them more time on their business. It gives them more time to grow their business. It also gives them more time with their family and to spend on the relationships and on the things that they love to do, because you're not filling up your time with things that don't get you there. So they know where they're headed. They've got a very clear vision for what that is. And the next thing, number five, is that they set goals. Goals are very, very important. I don't know anybody that's successful that doesn't set goals. It is key to not only set them, but to also execute them, write them down, and have a plan for them. And that's huge. And what I see from people that don't do this is they're very vague, or maybe they set goals and then they're maybe they haven't hit them for a while and then they kind of give up. So, and then they're just kind of wondering, and they end up being in the status quo place and never moving to that next level. And successful people set goals because they're always striving to get to that next level. And if that's not you, so maybe there's a reason why. Maybe there's a reason why you're not setting goals. Maybe you got disappointed in the past or something happened where you're not wanting to do that. And maybe it's a subconscious problem. Number 6, they understand, and I mentioned this before, successful people understand that money buys speed. And it absolutely does. If there is something that you need, that you know that if you got it, it would bring your business or your relationships, whatever it is, to the next level, wouldn't you want to do that? Because it speeds things up. It totally speeds the process up. I've learned this. I mean, I'm a coach. I hire coaches. I work with coaches for that purpose, because it could take me hours and months, in some cases years, to try and figure out some of the things that I have to do on my own. Money buys speed. So that's a huge, huge learning for someone that is wanting success and wanting to get to that next level. Because I remember I've been there when I was first starting out as an entrepreneur. I thought I could do everything myself. I tried to build my own website. I tried to do, all these other things that I didn't need to be doing, because learning how to do those slowed me down in my progression with my business. So successful people know and understand that investing in your business, investing in your personal growth buys you speed. It speeds up everything. Okay, what's next? This is number 7. Successful people are solution-minded. They don't give excuses. So even going back to, oh, well, it's Christmas, people are busy. That's an excuse. They don't give excuses. Well, I can't do this. Anytime you hear yourself or someone else saying I can't, or, oh, well, not right now, those are all excuses. Sometimes there's a real reason that people need to take, but successful people are solution-minded. They don't do the excuses. That's a huge difference. And so success really is a mindset. It's a different way of thinking. And if you've been in this area where you haven't been able to get to that next level, it's something that you really have to focus on changing the way you think. Okay, number 8, they think bigger. They think bigger. They see things from a different view. They're not looking at, oh, where am I going to get that next customer or next client? They're looking at, where do I want to be 12 months from now? Where do I want to be in 5 years? Where do I want to be in 10 years? They're looking at those bigger pieces of their business and their life, quite honestly. They're looking at those pieces and where they want to go. So they've got a huge, bigger vision for the business. Number 9 is confidence. So confidence is really huge. And if you've achieved some level of success, you probably have some level of confidence. However, I was just talking with someone about this today. Whenever we reach different levels in our business, so say, you know, you're a professional, you got a promotion, and now you're head over a team. I just literally just talked to somebody who her husband's going through this now. And you're now over a whole team of people. Well, he still sees himself as, you know, the friend with the employee, you know, the friends at work. And now he's in charge of these people. Like now he's the leader. And sometimes whenever we hit new levels of our business, it affects our confidence because we don't see ourselves in that way. And it is a subconscious thing. It's an adjustment that we have to make. So with each level that we hit, there is always something that needs to be adjusted subconsciously, because honestly, that's why we stay where we are. That's why we end up being stuck, because there's a subconscious program that's been running. Okay. Number 10. So successful people understand that they understand momentum. They understand the magnificence of momentum, and momentum is so huge. And this is why they don't take off during the holidays. This is why they keep working, because momentum makes everything else happen. John Maxwell, I'm not going to quote it exactly, but he says that momentum solves 80% of your business problems. 80%. So if you can keep up the consistency and you know, step away from the procrastination, you begin to get momentum. And whenever you begin to get momentum, it's like popcorn popping. It's just an analogy that one of my old coaches used to use all the time is whenever, you know, you've got that thing of popcorn on the stove and you're doing it the old way. So we'll say, like, leave out the microwave. This might work in the microwave too. I don't know. But you hear 2 or 3 kernels pop, right? It takes a little while. You hear those pop, but it's a consistent heat. It's that consistent heat that gets those kernels first popping. But then, you know, you hear 2 or 3, but then all of a sudden you start to hear all these pops. The whole thing is blowing up because that heat, that's the activity, that's the consistency, that's the keeping on your goals and keeping your vision in front of you and staying focused. That heat is what gets you to that next level, and that creates a magnificent amount of momentum with the popping. So I hope you enjoyed that analogy. It's really huge. So something to keep in mind about this, you know, like I said in the beginning, there's a huge divide between successful people and people that aren't there yet. It's huge. And the top 20% of salespeople earn 80% of the money. So think about that, and think about what they're doing. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope that you can take some of this, and, you know, this was meant for you to go and evaluate yourself. Go through these 10 steps and evaluate. So where are my blind spots? Where are the things where I can improve on? What can I be looking for in my own self, in my own business, where I know, you know, that one thing she said, yeah, I'm kind of doing that, you know, or whatever it is, and see what you can do. Ask yourself, what can I do to be different? How can I go into 2022 with a different mindset, with a success mindset? So I hope you found this helpful. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you on the next video.